Hello, my twisted loves. This is Celia Firefly, founder of Twisted Elegance of North Carolina. We are a BDSM educational group that's focused on teaching the foundations and learning you so you can be the best you in the BDSM community. Tonight, I have the pleasure of having with me from our group, Lady Sapphire, who is a resident Dami. She's
Hello.
she's a screenwriter. And we're happy to have her with us tonight. Lady Sapphire, hello.
Hello. What's going on, all you elegantly twisted people?
Yes. We have our resident Miss Little Lacey, here with us tonight.
Hello, peoples. I'm back.
And we have a very special guest with us tonight. We are happy to have with us Mark. Mark is a certified hypnotherapist, and he's also a licensed optician in the state of Georgia. He is on FetLife as HypnoticDawg, which is dog, DAWG. And he's here with us tonight. We're going to talk a little bit about erotic hypnosis. Mark, we're glad to have you on the show tonight.
Thank you so much. And I'm going to say good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everyone, no matter where you are in the world.
Absolutely. Wonderful. So we're glad to have all you guys here with me tonight. So we're going to get started. Tonight's podcast, we usually talk about, the building blocks of what BDSM entails. But tonight we're going to take a little break. We're going to do something different. I think Lady Sapphire has this week a little bit of you work for us. She's got a reading that she wants to share with us. So we'll use that as our you work for the week, give you something to think about. So we can come back next week and, let us know what you worked on, what you got out of it, and how it helped you during the week. So we're going to kick off with that. And then we're going to go into a little conversation with Mark about his erotic hypnotherapy. So we've got a lot of questions. He's got a lot of information for us. So we're really excited to get into that. So we're going to let Lady Sapphire go ahead and share with us our you work for the week. And then we'll get into our conversation with Mark.
Awesome. All righty, everyone. So this is called Pledge to My Body. And it's just different points that you really want to reflect on. And it is a pledge to your body. So first it says, I promise to think of you as a friend, not an enemy. I will constantly check in with you to make sure you're okay. I will listen to what you're telling me without judgment. I will take care of you with warmth and appreciation for all that you do for me. Here's the kicker. Here's the one we really need to think about. I will give you what you need and what not a culture obsessed world tells me that you need. I will talk about you and to you kindly, both alone and in the presence of others. And last it says, I will strive to stay connected to you as you are my home. And this is by authentic_sex therapist. This is a pledge that we should make to our bodies.
Absolutely.
That is awesome.
I love it. So we're going to take that and I think maybe we can, I want to say maybe post that. So everyone
we can do that.
We'll post it in group. We'll post it in the description. And just take time, read it, and go through piece by piece. If you don't do anything but go line by line, one line a day, and just take and journal on it. We're big on journaling. So if you just take 5 or 10 minutes out your day, take one line and just journal on it. And, work, do a little you work this week because I don't think we gave you any last week. So see how that helps you. Let us know. We always say throw something in the comments. Come to the group. Let us know what you got out of your you work for the week. But that is awesome. I love it. We'll go ahead and post that with our description. That was very, very good. I like that. So we'll come back next week, and talk about what we got out of it. Lady Sapphire and Lacey. Yes, ma'am.
Yep. Will do.
Yeah, so we'll do that for our you work on next week. Thank you so much. That was awesome.
Anytime.
So now we get to the meat and potatoes of the podcast tonight. So we've got Mark here. So again, he's a certified hypnotherapist. So what he's going to talk with us tonight about is erotic hypnotherapy. What is it? How do you say it? Erotic.
I'm going to speak to you about hypnotherapy first, and then I'm going to explain how it is applicable and very useful in the BDSM community.
Wonderful. So I'm just going to turn the stage over to you and let you have it. We'll ask some questions here and there and let you go for it.
Feel free to fire away. The only bad question is the one that asked.
Absolutely.
That is true.
Well, first of all, let me give you my background. I am a certified hypnotherapist. I do have a conventional practice where I help people with pain management, smoking and vaping cessation, insomnia, and things of that nature, mental and emotional detox and things of that nature. And I got into this field originally for pain management. I am physically challenged. I have cerebral palsy. And, previous to the pandemic, most of the talk in the medical community was that of the opioid crisis. Now, I've been a licensed optician over 20 years, and I spend a lot of time on my feet. And that, coupled with my cerebral palsy, I was in a great deal of pain. And I'm like, here I am. I've been a licensed optician, for a very long time, and now I'm going to have to stop working because of my pain levels. Well, I looked and looked and looked for a more natural and holistic way to manage my pain. And one day I was talking with a friend of mine, and, they had said to me, why don't you try hypnosis? And, like most people, I knew very little about it. And so I dismissed it as saying that's something not real, and you only see that in the movies, and I'm not doing that. That looks evil. And, one day I was on YouTube, and, I came across my feed, hypnosis for pain management. I looked at the video and I tried it, and it didn't work for me. But what it did was spark a curiosity within me. So I began to search and search and search for something that might work. And lo and behold, I did find one. And I was able to bring my pain from an 8 or 9 on a 10 pain scale all the way down to like a 1 or 2. Now, I should say, you should never really totally eliminate pain from your body, because that's your body's alarm system saying that something's not quite right. Okay? So based on that, I did it for about a year, and then, it hit me like a ton of bricks because I've been so blessed. I have to be a blessing to others and share this science. So, I looked and looked, and I found someone that was able to teach me hypnosis. I became certified, as a hypnotherapist. And one day during my training, I was on YouTube again, and it came across my feed, erotic hypnosis, and me being kinky person that I am, I was like, what? My gosh. So, I asked my instructor about it, and he said, yes, it's a real thing. And for me, that was like a parting of the Red Sea, because, I have the ability to help people in terms of helping them see and helping people with other problems in their lives. And there's an element where I can add kink to it also. That was just something special for me. And hence, I started doing, erotic hypnosis. And it's a very beautiful thing. You see, hypnosis is around us every day, and we don't even realize it, and when we put someone in a hypnotic state, all that we're really doing is we're bypassing your conscious thought, and we're dealing directly with your subconscious. Now, there's several ways that, we can look at this and break this down. Okay, first of all, the human thought process takes place on 2 levels, the conscious and your subconscious. Now, your conscious thought, that takes up about 10% of your brain power in terms of your thoughts. So that's where your moral code is. That's where, you make your decisions in terms of what's right and what's wrong. And that is your logical side. Now, the other 90% of your brain, thereabout, is your subconscious. That's where your imagination is. That's where your memory is, and things of that nature. And your creativity lies also. So, the thing that is awesome about the human brain, even though the conscious thought is 10%, it always protects the subconscious, which is 90%. So therefore, let me state, number one, you will not do anything against your moral code when you are in a hypnotic state. Because if I ask you if murder is against your moral code, and I'm sure it is for everyone or most people, if I could not hypnotize you and say, okay, go and kill someone, one of two things would happen. Number one, your body and your mind would totally ignore that suggestion, or you would come out of the hypnotic state. So you're not going to, when you're hypnotized, you're not going to reveal any deep, dark secrets, okay? And you're not going to do anything against your moral code. And let me, state for the record also, it's around us so much in everything that and a number of things that we say and do. And if you have an active imagination, then you would probably do very well with hypnosis. And, ask yourself these questions. Have you ever read a book and you could see the scene in your head?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Then, that's a form of hypnosis.
Like,
wow. Have you ever smelled something cooking and instantly become hungry?
Yes.
Then you were hypnotized by the smell. Okay?
Wow.
Have you ever taken the normal route you take to go someplace, and one day you couldn't remember how you got there, but yet you arrived there?
Wow.
You were hypnotized while driving.
Oh,
Okay?
goodness.
And
Shut the front door.
Yeah, here's another one. You ever notice that if you ever watch a tearjerker of a movie and you start to cry or you exhibit some type of emotion, has that ever happened?
Yes.
Okay. Well, your logical mind knows that those are paid actors and actresses, but yet that screenwriter wrote a script so good that it evoked that, or the actors portrayed the character so good that it evoked that level of emotion from you, but yet your logical mind knows that they're just paid actors and actresses. Again, you were hypnotized by that writer.
Oh my goodness!
Wow.
And I'll tell you how it's used in business. Have you ever noticed when you go to the movie theater, one of the last things you see is popcorn popping or a soda pop opening? You hear that sound?
Yeah.
They're subconsciously telling you, go buy something from the concession stand.
Yeah, but my wallet subconsciously tell me, we bought stuff in from the dollar store.
Exactly.
Oh,
yeah.
Exactly.
Here's another one. Have you ever noticed that most candy wrappers in most stores, they're bright colors and they're always like at eye level or child's eye level?
Yeah.
Because they're hoping when you get up to the register, that child is so bedazzled by it that they want to reach out and touch it. And a lot of times, to quiet that kid down, they'll say, just put it on it. You want that? Just go ahead and get it.
Okay.
So it's used all the time,
Wow.
But they used to say, I want to say it was back in like the 80s, early 90s. They used to say, remember when you would go in like the stores and they would be playing the music in the stores? And I heard, and I don't know how true it was, but they used to say that they had because if you really think about it, they used to say that they had like stuff subliminally playing up under the music that was telling you to buy things, buy this, buy that, then the third. And a lot of people were saying, well, I only went in to get one thing and then I wound up with a whole cart full of things.
That is possible. It is very possible. Your subconscious is being activated or manipulated, whatever word you choose to use, on a regular basis,
So, Mark, are there levels to like your subconscious? Because it sounds like as a writer, as a screenwriter, I stay creative all the time. So, but there are certain things that I would never have thought that, okay, this is your subconscious working. So are there levels to your subconscious? Just asking.
I wouldn't say there's levels per se, but some people can tap, because you are creative. your imagination is very, very strong. So therefore, you can, you can tap into things and experience things that, like when you look at the world, some people may see the world as black and white, but because you'll see it as gray.
Okay. Gotcha.
A mixture of both. So, the more creative you are, the more of a free thinker you are, that's the easier it is to hypnotize, for you to be hypnotized. Now, there are some people that should not be hypnotized, and those are people that are bipolar, individuals that are mentally challenged, or if you suffer from schizophrenia, or if you're in a drug or alcohol psychosis, we recommend that you be hypnotized because number one, as a hypnotist or hypnotherapist, I am making suggestions to your subconscious. That's all I'm doing. I'm not commanding anyone. But again, you are actually in control as the hypnotic subject because your body and your mind will either accept or reject the suggestion. So you are actually, in control. It's more of a collaboration between the hypnotherapist or hypnotist and his or her subject. So there's no such thing as mind control. I can't make you do anything that you would not normally do or have a desire to do and have not done yet.
Well, can you elaborate on that more? Because so what is it that's because I will honestly say that's one thing that really stops me. I've heard people mention erotic hypnosis, and that is the one thing that's actually stopped me from even being open to it because I was always scared. Okay, I can't control what I'm being told to do, or something to go wrong, and I'm stuck in, in wherever I've been taken to.
Okay.
But you're saying your subconscious will not let you do anything?
No, I'm saying that your conscious thought, your moral clock within you, even though that's 10% of your brain power, it protects that other 90%. So I can't say to you, I can't suggest to you, go kill someone because that goes against your moral code. Again, one or two things are going to happen. You're either going to come out of a hypnotic state or your body's just going to ignore that suggestion.
And that all has to do with just your moral standards.
Yes.
Okay. So,
so
that's interesting.
It's not like your moral standards, if they're like, what are superficial moral standards? So, because not everybody's moral standards are that deeply ingrained.
Yeah.
So
again, your conscious thought will pop back in for a moment and say, we're just going to ignore that, or yeah, you can go ahead and do that. The reason why erotic hypnosis can be so effective in the BDSM community for two reasons. Number one, we all know that your mind is actually the biggest sex organ in your body.
Right.
And it's truly the case. What the mind can perceive, the body can truly achieve. That's one of those things that you hear tossed around, but it is. I found it to be very powerful.
Right.
In terms of hypnosis, think about it. And if you have a very active fantasy life, it's the perfect tool to use because you can actually have the sensations of experiencing that physical event. I've had cases where I've given people hypnotic spankings.
Wait.
I think is it so? Does that kind of run one in the same? Okay, from the medical side, because I'm a nurse practitioner.
Okay.
So I've seen people because my area of concentration has been in health and critical care. So on the critical care side, when I was actually working in an ER consistently, there was one lady that would come in all the time. She would always say that she was having a heart attack or she was having a stroke. And she was always saying, I feel it, feel it on my left side. Strangely, this woman was amputated on her left side. But she would have something that we call phantom pains. where she would literally come in and she was amputated from her shoulder down. She did not have a left arm. I've dealt with people that have been like amputated from their knees down, and they'll say, I'm feeling pain in my calves, but they were amputated. So, it was like they were having phantom pains. So does that kind of run like one in the same with the subconscious?
Yes, because it's in their mind. It's in their mind. Physically, it's not there, and it's in their mind. And let me also say this for you.
Mm-hmm.
Hypnosis itself does not cure anything, but it is a very powerful aid.
Yeah.
Okay?
Right. Okay. I understand that. Yes. Yeah.
It does not cure anything. It's very powerful aid, and that really shows when it comes to things like smoking and vaping cessation or type of addiction, because I can do something to stop the symptom, but if I don't get to the root cause of that issue, what has caused you to smoke, then chances are you're going to relapse and smoke again. So
Right.
I often tell people when they come to me for smoking or vaping cessation, are you really sick and tired of being sick and tired? Because if you're not sick and tired of being sick and tired of being sick and tired of smoking, then your likelihood that you're going to go back to smoking is strong. So you've got to be sick and tired of being sick and tired of being sick and tired of smoking or vaping.
I want to backtrack and ask, what's a hypnotic spanking? Like, are we spanking people near the mind?
Yeah, anything that your mind can perceive, then your body can achieve. I can give you the sensation of a spanking without even spanking you, but you can still feel it because you've allowed your mind to feel it.
So it's not like you're suggesting my hand spank myself. It is literally just the mind giving the body the sensation of it.
Yeah.
Oh, now that's interesting.
It's like when you read an erotic novel and you experience sensations that you're reading.
Yes. Like, okay, let's call it what it is. If you read something erotic and you get moist, it didn't touch you, but your brain allowed you to get moist.
Got it.
True.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody touched you. You didn't touch yourself. But
Right.
Interesting.
That is very interesting.
Wow.
So it's not anything physical. It's all mental sensation.
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
Yes. And let's think and as when you take out the sexual element in BDSM, it's about the mental connection between you and your partner or you and the person you're seeing with. It's about so therefore, erotic hypnosis can be very effective in the BDSM community, especially when you take into account, and when you want to attempt to do something new or try something new or a new kink, one of the hardest things to do is to find someone that is, number one, knowledgeable in the thing that you want to experience and someone that you trust. Those are two of the toughest things to do when you're attempting to do something new. Those are the hardest things to find. So if you can be hypnotized to experience that sensation, you already in your mind will know what it feels like. And I'll give you an example of non-BDSM. I had an individual that was afraid of heights, but they wanted to go on a hot air balloon. Right. So what I did was I had them watch a video. I watched the same video, and then I just recounted that video back to them in their mind when they were in a hypnotic state. And they experience all those sensations, everything from the heart racing to the breeze, and the coolness of being up at a high altitude.
So does that work for claustrophobia?
It can.
Because I'm severely claustrophobic.
But again, you may physically be in a very confined space, yes. But how much of your mind or your thought is making it worse than what it really is?
Well, I've learned, and the funny thing is, I've learned through BDSM to kind of settle my mind. I've allowed my dom previously. I allowed him to put a hood on my face, and the only thing that was open was my mouth. I allowed him to put me in a sprinter bar at the same time, and I was cuffed, so I could not move. Which was very. I pushed every limit I think I had then, but I learned, in a sense, to breathe and calm my mind and kind of get through it. But I've noticed that I can only do it for a short amount of time. After a little bit, it's just like I lose it. It's like, okay, you know what? You got to get this off. I can't do it. And then I've also, at the same time, the same person in those situations. And to me, it kind of seemed like hypnosis. I was able to be calmed just by listening to him say, all right, you're okay. Calm down. You'll be fine. And that helped. So I'm really, I can see in a way how you're saying, if you have these apprehensions about maybe flogging, or you have apprehensions about doing certain things, where hypnosis would kind of, give you. So basically you're saying you can give that experience without literally having that experience first, and everything that happens during that experience, you will remember when you come out of hypnosis.
That is correct.
So then I can turn around and per se, okay, I know what, maybe paddling, certain paddles, things like that. Because I hate paddles. So like certain paddles.
I love paddles.
I know you do, but I don't like that thing. But so you can have that experience and you remember it, and you would be able to say, okay, this is something that I'll be okay doing in actual life.
Yes. But see, the thing is, you have to have even a small frame of it. Like, see, the thing is, even if you can just think about it for a moment, we're already somewhat there, because I'll take that thought and I'll expand upon it. Now, it helps. It helps if you've previously had that experience, especially when it comes to orgasms. One of the things that I do, like if I'm going to bring someone to an orgasm, I'll use your own memory. Remember the last orgasm you had, whether it was whether someone or self-induced. Take yourself back to that room. Remember what the room smelled like. Remember what the setting was. Therefore, we've already pulled up something from your memory banks. Then it's just a matter of opening it up and expanding upon it. And, for those guys who think that, it's about sex, I mean, how awesome would that be if you could just talk to your partner's body and have it react?
Wow.
And
okay,
that's very, very powerful. Just to say, hey, when I snap my finger, come from me. Wow, that's pretty powerful.
Well, yeah,
I'm beginning to understand there are certain aspects of BDSM and dynamics where it seems like hypnosis in some, but I don't know, because I guess my question is, how do you actually hypnotize a person? And then, because what you're saying, I mean, like I said, I've experienced where I can be in a room, we can be in a crowded room of people. And my dominant could call my name, and he could be in another room and I could hear him. Or, like I said, just the calming effect, just from listening, it's like an entrance state kind of thing.
Yes.
So, even with that, how would I have, I heard people say, you get trained to your dominant. So is there something that they're doing and maybe not knowing it? Or I guess my question is, how do you hypnotize somebody, or how do you get somebody to that state where their subconscious is listening to you at that level?
Okay. Well, first of all, you have to remember the human mind is very powerful. How many times have you seen stories of a woman lifting a heavy object off their baby?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Now, normally she wouldn't be able to do that, but she has such an adrenaline rush, such a rush, into where the mind and body overcomes matter, and they make it happen. I'm gonna do a very simple exercise for you guys, right?
You can write hypnotizers.
Oh,
Yes. Yeah.
I want you all to just take a moment and breathe, and I want you to close your eyes and imagine that your eyes are locked shut. Just take a moment and imagine that they are locked shut, super glued or locked shut. All right? I'm going to count to 3, and I'm going to say eyes locked. And the thing is, you're not going to try to open them until your subconscious knows that you can't. So I want you to just imagine that your eyes are locked, shut, super glued. I'm going to count to 3, and I'm going to snap my fingers. Then I'm going to ask you, and your eyes are going to be locked shut. And you won't be able to open them, but that's okay, because I'm right here, and I'm going to give you the command to open them a few minutes later, okay? So
Okay.
I want all of you to take a deep breath and just imagine that your eyes are locked shut, super glued, locked shut now. Close them and just imagine that they're locked shut, super glued. I'm going to count to 3, and I'm going to snap my fingers, and they're going to be locked shut. You ready?
Yes.
1.
Yeah.
Take a deep breath. 2 and 3. Your eyes are locked shut right now. Now go ahead and try to open them, and you'll see that you can't. How many of you could? 1, 2, 3. Eyes open now. Eyes open now. Eyes open now.
Oh, heck no. Heck no. Heck no. What?
You see
What?
the part of the human mind? You see the part? You see?
Thanks. Now I'm going to be up all night watching TV because I ain't closing my eyes. Thank you.
No, you're fine.
That was relaxing.
Oh my gosh.
Wow. I was like,
goodness.
I'm gonna be able to open my. No.
Yeah.
No. Wait, what happened? No, what's really going on? Internally, a little freaking out just a tad bit.
Yeah, but
Now, wow.
I'm not kidding.
I'm tired.
okay. Now watch this. You ready?
Uh-oh.
You ready? I'm gonna show you something
Yeah.
along the same lines. You ready?
Okay.
I want you guys to close your eyes again.
Mm-mm.
Okay, close your eyes again. Just relax.
Okay.
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 You can open them up right away when I said so, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yep.
No, go ahead and imagine that your eyes are locked shut, super glued right now, locked shut. They're locked, right?
Yep.
Okay. Now, stick your thumb in your mouth and watch them pop open. Now, all I did was just
That
suggest.
was funny. Oh my God.
All I did was suggest.
See, this reminds me of, when they say people got certain superpowers and don't
No.
abuse the powers, don't
No,
abuse your superpowers.
Oh gosh.
no,
Oh my gosh.
there are no superpowers. I'm just
Wow.
saying.
Oh my God. I can't
So now-
believe it.
Imagine what it's like when I snap my finger and give other commands that are more intimate.
My goodness. I'm convinced. Wow. Okay. Okay.
I don't know. Gotta think. I gotta think about this one.
Whoa. All right.
But that's the part of your human mind. We are separated by thousands of miles. We're all in different places.
Yep.
Mhm. Yeah.
I said a few words, and I allowed you to let your imagination take over.
Wow.
Oh my goodness. Wow. Okay.
Okay.
Wow.
Well,
Crazy.
that was definitely. I'm tongue tied right now.
Yeah, that's what I was getting ready to say. I'm speechless. I always got something to say. I
yeah.
don't know what.
Again, it is my job as a hypnotherapist or hypnotist to, number one, always, have your safety in mind.
Right.
Now, and before you're hypnotized, you want to make sure that you are in a good state of mind also. So, we don't want you smoking weed before a session.
Mhm.
We don't want you on alcohol before a session, because you need to be, coherent and having your full mental capabilities about you. Now, if I were going to, even if I'm going to have a regular conventional session, it would look something like this. You would contact me, and we would have what is called a pre-talk. That way, I would establish, number one, if you could be hypnotized by doing that simple suggestibility test that I just did. We would also talk about goals and limits and get consent, and that would happen in both a regular session or an erotic session. And again, consent is key. And we would discuss what is going to take place and what will not. And as an ethical person, I would adhere to that to the letter.
Now that's a question for me. So, being that you were, for lack of better words, in an altered state of mind,
you weren't. No, you weren't. Let's clear that up right now. Actually, when you are in a hypnotic state, the best way to describe it is hyper concentration in a relaxed state. You had to think that your eyes were closed in order for that to happen. Remember, I said, imagine that your eyes are locked shut. So you allowed yourself to imagine that.
So even with that, though, double advocate here. So even with that, can you 100% say that a person is consenting? Even okay, so you got prior consent. Yes, I understand that. Oh, is it because that, like you said prior, that 10% your conscience is not going to let you do anything immoral? So does that, in a way per se, cover consent while you're under hypnosis?
No, you want to get consent beforehand.
Okay, I understand that. But when you get to that state where you are hypnotized, can you understand what I'm saying? Can you, there's something right? Yeah, can you actually say a person is consenting when they are hypnotized?
Yes, because if your body, if you did not want to do it subconsciously, your conscious thought is going to jump in and say, no, we're not doing it.
So that's what I'm saying. So when it comes to consent, the 10% you're conscious, that 10% will cover consent because it's not going to allow you to do anything immoral or that you don't want.
Yes.
Okay. I'm just putting that out there because, people have questions and I want to try to cover everything. So, because some people say, well, you're hypnotized, you can't consent. But as you're saying, that 10% of your mind that basically is your safeguard.
Yes.
It's not going to let you do anything that you are not okay doing.
Yes.
Okay.
Here's a good example. If you've ever gone to a hypnotist show or you've seen one on TV, you'll see people barking like a dog or clucking like a chicken. Well, number one, the people that come up on stage are volunteers. They already want to be there, because if they didn't want to be there, they wouldn't volunteer.
Absolutely.
It's sort of like when you go to a comedy show. Some of the stuff they joke about is not funny, but you're already preconditioned to laugh because you're going to say, hey, it's a comedy show. Gotta laugh.
Right. Okay. Understood. Yeah.
Now that's definitely interesting. So I've already experienced it. So that like kind of really took away my little cynical question that I had. Because we talked the other day about this and I was like, yeah, the only thing I really remember that is vivid in my mind, and I understand Hollywood magic and all that, but I don't watch horror movies, and I kind of remember a horror movie where, like, there was a spirit in the house, and the guy was hypnotized, and during the course of that hypnotism session, like, the spirit kind of infused into his thought. May sound weird, but that's the only thing. When I saw that, I was like, oh, okay, heck no. So I know you said it is literally just your mind and your subconsciousness of your mind. There are no outside variables that should affect being hypnotized. Is there?
No, there aren't really.
Okay.
It's a conversation between the hypnotist or the hypnotist and your subconscious mind.
Okay.
So some people call it the critical factor. I'm bypassing that critical factor and I'm communicating with your subconscious. Now, there are some things that I have to keep in mind as the person doing the hypnotizing. Number one, I don't want to use negative words.
Okay.
Okay, your subconscious does not like the word no or negative words. So I should not. Now, there are some times where there's always exceptions to the rules, but for the most part, I should not say, you will not be tired because your subconscious is going to hear you'll be tired because it doesn't like negative words. So if I not to do something, I would say, okay, your body will be absent, or tiredness will be absent from your body instead of saying the word no or not.
So your subconscious is basically a
Yeah. You're one better. Your subconscious is a sponge, right?
yes.
Your conscious thought is the guard to protect that sponge.
Got you.
Okay.
Understood.
That's dope. This is very interesting. It really is.
Very.
And like I said, it's around us every day. But when people hear that word hypnosis, fright comes over you. And again, sometimes within our culture, that which we don't understand, we tend to demonize. Sometimes.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that goes with BDSM as a whole.
Yes. Yes. Because if you look at the level of communication and trust and thought that goes into a healthy dynamic or relationship in the BDSM community, people from the vanilla world could learn from us when it's done right.
Right.
Because it's open, honest, frank communication. And that's what breaks down a lot of relationships in this, in the vanilla world, because they don't, they're afraid of offending their partner or they don't quite know how to say it or say something that's bothering them or they bury it. And therefore,
absolutely. And that's one thing that I stress when we talk about communication. We were talking about the pillars the other day. So we were talking about the trust and the communication and things like that. And to me, I really strongly believe that in our dynamics and things like that, we should be able to have that open conversation, the everything on the table conversation. I shouldn't feel, that you're going to judge me. In dynamics, in our relationships, I shouldn't feel that there's anything that I tell you that you're going to look at me any different, or I'm going to judge you. If we're partners, we're in a dynamic or anything like that, that has to be there because in this, that we do, I always say it's a very volatile lifestyle that we live in. And especially in dynamics, that trust has to be there.
Yeah.
There's definitely communication is one of the biggest things. And you're right. The vanilla world, I think, could learn a whole lot from the structure of what we do. And I think that goes back to what we were saying last week, Lady Sapphire, about the D in, and the BDSM. It's not just the physical act of disciplining. Yep. I think it also refers to the discipline of the community itself.
Yes.
Because there is, when you have that foundation and that the education of what this is, there is a very deep discipline that comes with this community. I really think that a lot of people, you have to be able to adopt that concept. I trust the person that I'm with. I trust my dominant. I trust my submissive. I can sit down and I can have these open conversations, and they're not going to judge me. They're not going to look at me funny. I totally believe in, and I say it all the time, I believe in fostering, our kinks are different. If you want into talking about, dynamics between two people, something that's kinky to me or something that I enjoy might not be something that my dominant enjoys or that he's into or that he's skilled in. So having that conversation, you're able to judge and give your partner the choice of either, hey, well, let's work on this. Let me see if this is something I can learn. Or let's try this and see if it's something, that, maybe I haven't tried it and I might like it. Or, me, I'm the type, okay, it's not my kink, but I believe in fostering a way for my partner to be able to enjoy that kink, whether I'm there or, you foster it some other way, because I think that's one thing that we have to be open to. We all have different kinks. We lose kinks, we gain kinks. There's a lot of things that I've come to understand that I enjoy now that maybe 5 or 10 years ago I would have never, thought of even experiencing. So definitely the communication that it's if done in a healthy way, like we were talking about before a couple of podcasts, the mental side, it's so heavy, and I think we have to just foster that safe place for, our mental growth, for, just, to build these relationships. And, I mean, those even outside of, our dynamics, even when we interact with just top and bottom scene, you still have to have that communication because you still have to negotiate. You still have to, put out, I'm okay with this. I'm not okay with that. This is what I need. I need aftercare, because a lot of times it doesn't happen. So we go without. And then what happens? We get mentally all discombobulated because I didn't get what I need. Or my aftercare, or this and that and the third. So even with this, I think like we were saying about the pillars, everything in the foundations, they all come back to the same thing, Yeah. So I definitely, this is very interesting to me. And I can even see it as being a healthy way. How we were talking about, like our mental check-ins.
Yes.
I can see this as being a healthy way of, just doing your mental check-ins, even if there's some things that you're not comfortable with, and you don't know how to get over it. This seems to be like a really good way to kind of foster that segue between, okay, I'm not sure, I don't want to try it because I'm the type, I'll tell you, I won't sing with just any and everybody. That's a block that I have because I have this thought in my mind, okay, what if they're not going to stop when I say, yeah, that's me. I'll be prepared for one.
In addition to being, demisexual, sapiosexual, I'm also into oralism, and I'm also a cerebral sadist.
Oh, you like mine?
Now, for those that don't know what that is, I'm gonna break it down in real simple terms. I love a good mind fuck.
Lord,
I love a situation where I can say something to someone in the morning and just have it percolate all day. And by the time I get home or by the time we get together, drip, 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 drip.
Okay. And here is the what can I say? The one important thing that I always say. Now, you heard what you just said. I like the fact that I can say something to a person and that's going to stay with them all day. You are having mental control over someone.
No.
How is that not?
Okay. It is not control, because at any moment you can choose to ignore it. You are allowing it to happen, but at any moment you can choose to stop it, but you choose not to because you are enjoying it.
Okay, so still I see that as on the other side of, like, when I say we don't understand the fragile side of the mental, but you said it's not control. So I've always said, we have a certain amount of mental control, or like dominants have a certain amount of mental control, especially with their submissives and things like that. Like, well, before we started, when we were talking about responsibility, that responsibility isn't there. And I don't know, maybe it's because sometimes we don't know how to foster positive mental health after these things. Because now, what do you do when you have that type of interaction, say within your dynamic? You're able to foster those interactions where you can have me up in the air all day long, and when I see you, it's the floodgates are open.
Yes,
To
yes.
me, that's a very strong, again, you said it's
Again,
not,
okay.
it's a very strong power, put it that way.
That is very strong. But remember, your submission is a gift. You've given it to me. So if I respect you, if I care for you, and if I have genuine concern for you, I'm not going to abuse it.
That's true. That's true. But
so
again,
what's the difference between that and, reading, let's say, an erotic story, and it stays on your mind all day, and you are, I guess, creatively, you're having these vivid images in your mind, subconsciously, of course. And when your partner comes home, you still have the same sensation, So
Okay, let's make it even simpler. Guy goes out to a strip club, see this, pop, go home and puts it down on his wife or girlfriend or whatever the case may be, or his partner, or her partner. Okay, but again, he or she has chosen to think about that.
Okay.
That adult entertainer told the story with his or her body, and you chose to let it linger on.
Okay. I got you.
So basically, we are in control when we think that we're not in control.
Yeah. But that's it. You think you're not in control. You think you're not in control.
Sure. Right.
Wow.
Think about it.
Because that's interesting that the way you said it, no, I'm not controlling you. You're just not allowing yourself to let it go, basically.
Yeah.
It feels good. So, yeah, I'm going to keep this here. So that's just like rubbing a baby's stomach. They're going to hold your hand there, or like a puppy. That puppy going to let you rub his stomach, and you're just going to be happy because it feels good.
Yep. Go sit there.
Yeah.
All's going to curl up just like toes.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's kind of interesting because, people draw that as you have control. Even outside in the vanilla, like in the mental health field, it's somewhat the same thing. You have control over that person. I think about it though. Look at even, and this is kind of off topic, but look at even in, because you got me thinking you're talking about the brain. But even in, look at how, I'm trying to think of, what was I can't think of the movie, and it was a real life movie. In so many words, then there was a teenage boy. He was, I think, in like 18, 19. He was dating a girl around the same age. I think the boy, if I'm not mistaken, he wound up killing a friend, but they convicted the girlfriend because she was texting him, and giving him, telling him to do this and giving him suggestions.
Yeah.
And they were saying because she was controlling his stuff.
No, she did with malicious intent. She directed him to do that. Now, it was still his choice, but she directed him to do it.
So if our subconscious, okay, but he wasn't hypnotized. I get that part.
That kind of, for me, that ties into the whole mental health thing. Where does that, and PTSD, stuff like that, tie in? Because traumatic events often pop up in your head and you have no control over that. They're just there. You can't just swipe them away. They're, mentally you just can't swipe them either.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you're not really in control of that. So how does that tie in with control?
Okay. But yeah, but here's the thing. You are not in with PTSD, you're not in control. They just come up random.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it's how you cope with them. That's how, again, that's how the PTSD is managed. You're giving coping mechanisms to help deal with them. I mean, Western medicine says, take a pill.
Right.
But I've seen cases where individuals have used hypnosis to help with PTSD. And because they've given them coping mechanism. Because you gotta understand something. When we hypnotize you, a lot of times what we're doing is reframing something. Now, and here's a good example. I used the spider in the baby. Okay, a newborn baby does not know fear, right?
Right.
So you can let a spider crawl on a newborn baby's belly and it won't bother. But put that same spider on the belly of someone who is afraid of spiders. They're gonna freak out. Still the same spider, but you have learned that fear for whatever reason.
Simply because it's something you learned. Maybe not. You might not even have been bitten by a spider, but you know they can bite.
Yeah.
So does that kind of run one in the same with, okay, so you know how you can smell something that you would not, that's not edible to you, per se dog food or something, but you can have a sensation of how it tastes just by smelling it.
See, that's where it gets tricky because you're going into two different senses. You're going into different senses. Like, I've been able to give someone the sensation of swallowing a bodily fluid.
Okay.
Now, whether or not they had the frame of reference or of actually doing it, or better yet, I can hypnotize someone and have them taste the lemon in their mouth, even if there is no lemon present.
What?
Yeah, but again, that's the power of your mind.
So that's
Again,
this is the senses.
Yeah.
So your mind can make your mouth like taste something that is not actually there.
Yes. Again, anything that you can experience with the five senses can be enhanced or manipulate, or can be enhanced or be experienced while in the hypnotic state.
Okay. Can you hypnotize me to have the winning numbers for the Powerball that's coming up? I just want to know. I'm gonna ask these questions.
Nope.
Let's go for it. Dang it.
I can't. Let me break it down to you. Let me break it down to you like this. I can't hypnotize you and make you rich, but I can hypnotize you and give you a desire to succeed and put things in place. Every time you succeed, you'll receive this as a reward. And the more that you receive this as a reward, you want to do it more. Like, and again, since we're on the subject of BDSM and things of an intimate nature, I have helped people tie their creativity to orgasms.
No, I don't need that. No, thank you.
No, I'm
look, that's like manifesting. You know, they say if you manifest to an orgasm, and I think that has a lot to do with the mental, like what he's saying. I've heard that, if you manifest to things like that, your mind goes into a heightened state where
Not you like the transcending, like you're manifesting.
I have not looked it up. It is actually a thing. I'm sitting here. I'm like, am I listening that to this erotic hypnosis here? I'm like that. Well, that's amazing. Oh my gosh, my mind is blown. I'm just wow.
Get your manifestation in, people.
Your erotic manifestation.
Yes, your erotic manifestations. Yes.
Wow.
Transcend those boundaries.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
Amazing.
And like, you know how some people they have the vibrating underwear and things of that nature. You don't need that. All I need to do is give you a word, and the same thing can happen.
Okay, so is it the word, or is it because you're saying the word? So that's why I want to find out. Like, can't nobody else say that word and make that happen?
So I've given couples post-hypnotic suggestions. Now here's the problem with sometimes with those post-hypnotic suggestions. Sometimes, and you can see it happen, your word to trigger things is apple. So every time your partner says apple to you, things happen, right? What happens when you break up with that person? So what I do when I give someone a post-hypnotic suggestion, I give you the power to turn it on and turn it off. So if I were going to give you the suggestion that you would say, okay, apples works for this person. It can work.
Okay.
And then, when you don't want it to work, you say apples does not work for that person, because you could see some jerk that you broke up with. They come around you and they just want to say apples, apples, apples to be funny.
Wait a minute. Hold on. So you can specifically those two words.
It,
So you specifically give that power to somebody and turn it on and off.
yes,
That's crazy.
because again, the mind is the biggest sex tool, and you're controlling it. Like I had one individual where their trigger word was yellow.
Mhm.
Now, unfortunately, the next day she walked into her place of employment. She was a nanny, and the couple she worked for had painted their child's room yellow. So she walks into the room and she called me,
Oh no.
we got to change that. So when I give someone, when they say they want a word, I say, okay, you need to think of a word that you don't hear often, a word that's not associated with something that you would use often, and let that be it. So,
Yeah.
So using a common word like a color yellow or what have you. Don't do that.
I'm so perplexed. So
That could go left really quickly.
Yes. And also you want to have control of it, because what if that person does something crazy like calls and you're in the middle of driving and they say that word?
Yep.
So
Yeah.
you got to be careful.
I am so smitten right now. So
Wow.
I want to know how this works in regards to breath, because you have to be somewhat willing to be hypnotized, right?
That's
So
it.
if somebody tells me something, my first reaction is you don't tell me what to do, because breath. My mind's gonna.
That's fine. But again, you have to get permission. It is a collaborative effort. If you
basically,
you don't want it to happen, it won't.
okay. So what she's saying as a breath, because she's a little smarty one. So, and she's really defiant. So what she's saying is, what if she gives consent and she's hypnotized? So does that change that mental mindset that she has where now if she in one of her little bratty moments, I don't want to do this. Does that change?
Because it doesn't mean that I don't want to do it. It just means I want to connect the fight and sass off of it. Does that change that mindset? I'm going to fight it as much as I can.
Yeah.
So, but my question is, why would you want to brat one and be hypnotized?
It's a natural.
Yeah.
It's a natural thing for me. It just
So,
happens.
If you choose to fight it in any way, it's not going to happen.
You're not going to have
Like,
to. Okay.
Like I have people that I am intimate with, and I do my thing, and then they'll say, "No, stop it." And whatever word I would say, it won't work at that point because they said no, stop.
That's just like saying red.
Yeah.
Okay. No, wait a minute. I'm still stuck on this. Giving a person, being able to turn your reaction to a person or a word on and off, and you have the power to do that yourself.
Yeah, simply by saying whatever that word was does or does not work.
Yeah.
Because think about it.
And then to be specific for like one person, that's amazing.
But see, that's empowering. That's very empowering, because you are choosing to let this happen.
So it's kind of like being like attracted to, maybe I'm attracted to one guy's beard.
Yep.
And I don't like beards, but I'm just attracted to his beard.
Yep.
And I see another guy with a beard, and it's like, no, that doesn't do anything for me.
So you can say, okay, every time I see Tommy's beard, I'm just going to get soaking wet.
Right.
If you wanted that to be your
Right.
or your post-hypnotic suggestion. Now, that was for Tommy, okay? But if you look at Daquan's beard, it don't mean nothing to you.
Right. So that's just like the natural. You're attracted to something on one person, but you can see it on another person, and it just does nothing for you.
Exactly.
Okay. I get it. Okay. That's kind of unique. That's very unique.
And that's what I tell people, man, y'all can run for this hypnosis thing if you want to. But if other people had this power or they knew how strong it could potentially be, people would be flocking to it. But again, it's not for everybody.
Right.
I'm glad that I learned it at the advanced age that I am.
A mature age, because people could take this and do a lot of stuff that
it could be some.
Yeah.
A lot of things can go left, right, and bounce out of the darn house with a lot of this stuff. So yeah, you definitely have to be mature and sensitive. You can't be petty with this, especially if you hold the key or keyword to somebody else's body per se.
Yes.
You know?
Now they can always block it and say no, but what happens if them off guard?
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
So that's understood. You can be hypnotized to something, but you are never in a state that you're not aware of what's going on. So you can
you're aware. Now, you can forget things like the hypnotist can't say you won't remember, but that's usually talked about beforehand.
That's what I was going to ask you, because I was going to ask you why, when you see, like when you watch people be hypnotized, when they come out, they don't remember what they did.
Because sometimes the hypnotist will say, you won't remember the experience, or you will remember the experience. So at that point, they're giving a direct suggestion.
Okay. Wow. My goodness. I have truly been enlightened.
And that was the purpose of the podcast, to dispel a number of myths and to enlighten and show how it's part of everyday life. So again, your subconscious is being, I'm going to say maneuvered, not manipulated. It's being maneuvered.
Right. I am so grateful for this conversation, because it showed me a whole lot of things, and it has absolutely dispelled some things. Because like Lady Sapphire and I, we were laughing about it, because I said, well, he says that he can do this over Zoom. And I was like, but I think I want somebody near me, because maybe he's going to tell me to do something I'm not comfortable doing. But it's nice to know and understand that basically your mind is a safe haven for itself. Like it's not going to let you do anything that you're not comfortable doing, or your morals. That's very interesting. I like that. It kind of makes it more, what word am I looking for? It makes it more acceptable.
Yeah.
It's easier.
It gives you another level of comfort.
Yeah.
It's something that can be extremely discomforting.
Right.
Let's think about it. Nobody wants to lose control, or what they perceive as control.
Even as a submissive, exactly. Because you still have, even as a submissive, you have some level of control, because
that's what
your negotiation and everything, you've set boundaries, so you were in control of that. So absolutely, even as submissives, we don't want. That's definitely something. And I fight with that every day, because I'm in control of one spot, but then when it comes to this side of it, I'm not. So
I've gotten some odd requests. I think one of the oddest that I received was this person was going through a gender change, and they asked if I could hypnotize them to make them forget the fact that they were the original sex. I said, no, I'm not. I cannot and will not do something like that.
I wonder if their mind would that have been a moral issue?
Yeah, but first of all,
within themselves.
we all know before you undergo something like that, you go through a certain amount of psychological testing. Well, you know what? I'm not touching that.
Yes.
Yeah, like you said before, there are certain times where hypnosis should not be used, especially with people dealing with psychological things. So yeah, that's understandable. Yeah. Wow. Well, I have learned a lot.
I have as well, and Oh my goodness. I really, really, again,
Hey,
Hey,
I'm still. What happened? Where did our host go?
we broke the machine.
I clicked the mouse. I'm sorry, y'all. My little magic mouse is over here doing what it wants to do.
Oh, okay.
I
Oh,
told I
we
told
broke it.
the guy I broke it.
No, like I was saying, I really appreciate this conversation. It's definitely needed. It's definitely something too that few people know about. So I'm hoping that, this is something that'll be able to enlighten them, something that, they can look into. We are definitely going, that's my favorite word tonight. We're definitely going to have your information posted on the description for this podcast, and we're going to go ahead and post it. I'll probably do a little thing on Instagram. Y'all know I post everything to IG. So we'll have it on Instagram. We're going to post it in our Facebook group so they can contact you. You are out of Georgia.
Yeah.
But again, you said you can do things like this over Zoom and things like that, correct?
Most definitely. As a matter of fact, you gotta remember, I learned during the pandemic. So I learned over Zoom.
Right. Awesome. So, yeah, we're going to have his information for everybody listed. So if you want to have a session, you need to, get in contact with him to talk with him or anything, we'll have all that information posted so you can get a hold of him. He is on FetLife again under HypnoticDawg, and that dog is DAWG, like dog. Love it. And we're definitely gonna have him back because look, we were all talking before we got settled into this, and he gave us a couple of other topics that we want to touch on. So we're definitely gonna have him back so we can open up some more doors and have some more good conversation. Lady Sapphire, we are at an hour and 22 minutes. We did not hit 2 hours tonight.
What? Look at that. Wow. Wow.
I love it. So again, we appreciate Mark being here.
Yes, thank you so much.
Yes, I cannot say it enough. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We look forward to having you back again. I'm always thankful for Lady Sapphire being here with me. We do this and we try to make it fun and have a good time. And then we got little Lacey over here that we don't know what Lacey was doing tonight.
Hey, I'm here.
But
Lacey said she was there doing her thing.
Oh yeah, she was doing her thing, y'all. She had the little gummies on her nails and everything. So
Wow,
snitching. She was big sister snitching. So she was here, but I love doing this with her because she makes this fun as well. So we appreciate everybody tuning in. We are Twisted Elegance of North Carolina. You can find us on Facebook. Just search Twisted Elegance. We do have a group. There is a profile for us. We do have a chat also on Facebook as well. If you join the group, once you get approved to join the group, then you're added to the chat. We are working still on our Discord, so we will have that information hopefully up for you by next podcast next week. We're trying to move everything from Facebook over to Discord, so it'll be a little bit easier to post our resources and all of our podcast links and everything like that. And then we'll have our chat rooms, for our different roles. So, you can have those conversations. The dominants can do their talking and the subs can do their talking. And, we start getting a little educational things and stuff going on. We are trying to get a month. I'm thinking, like Sapphire, we're trying to do it virtual maybe.
Yep.
We haven't decided yet, but I think we're actually going to do for the locals, do a face-to-face meetup just to have something. We are looking forward to our Twisted's second anniversary in February. Yay. So we're gonna have it's called Aquarian Vibe. It's gonna be a purple and black soiree, and we're asking everybody to come on out. You can find the information on it on our IG. IG is Twisted Elegance NC. Same thing as our email, twistedelegancenc. at gmail.com. But all the information for the soiree will be on Instagram. We're doing weekly presenter spotlights. So we've got 2 up now. We'll have 1 up coming this week. This Monday, we should have another one. It's going to be everything from burlesque. We're going to have a spotlight for every presenter. They're going to present something sensual. Everyone is going to have their own 15, 20-minute slot. Our own Lady Sapphire is going to be doing some erotic poetry for us. We're excited about, and we're just going to have a good time, celebrate our birthday. It's my birthday month. It's another one of our admin's birthday month. So we're just going to have a good time and enjoy ourselves. What else? We are on Spotify, iHeart, and YouTube. We're everywhere. We are on Audible. So wherever you can catch us, just search for Sensually Twisted, and you will find us. We have, I think all of our episodes are up now. So,
Awesome.
absolutely take a listen, comment. We're going to try to come back through and do some lives so we can get, real time interaction with you guys. So again, I appreciate everyone that came out tonight to help me do this wonderful podcast. And we appreciate everyone that's listening, whether it's daytime, whatever time it is that you hear this, we appreciate you being here. So again, we are Twisted Elegance of North Carolina. I appreciate you all. See you next podcast, and make sure you stay twisted. Have a good night.
Bye, y'all.